in a weird corner of the internet right now. I've been fascinated by the music industry for a long time, whether that be like concert photography or music video production. I think creative direction is really, really cool. However, I will say little struck my fascination as much as from my YouTube recommended when I was suggested a video by Sunburn Kids called Cryboy back in 2024. It only had 4,000 views at the time, and I was shocked because I thought it was literally amazing. And that prompted me to look up Sunburn Kids. Who's Sunburn Kids? Why is Sunburn Kids? What is Sunburn Kids? But Sunburn Kids is basically a ghost in terms of digital footprint, so I didn't know I actually had my work cut out for me. But I continued to research far and wide anyway. So Sunburn Kids began posting on October 5th, 2023 with their first music video titled One Men. In the description, they put cast and a studio that worked on it. Also in the description, it said the video was sponsored by Chan, which is important information for later, and that a December EP was coming. Today, this video has 13,000 views. The second YouTube video, I Don't Like Fashion, was posted 2 weeks later on October 19th, 2023, and now has around 2.4k views. I wasn't a fan during this time, so I didn't know a lot about it, besides the video was super weird. But now, looking back, I see that this was likely some sort of campaign for a pop-up shop. Then, Sunburn Kids disappeared for a little bit. On December 26th, Sunburn Kids released their EP, Cryboy's mixtape, and the following day was when the video for Cryboy was released, which is basically what started it all for me. I was obsessed with the music video's visual style, and it was a bit eccentric, and which is what I think I liked about it. It reminded me a lot of DPR's work, which I'm really into. I was a little confused by the concept, but like, it's art. I don't have to get it. The music video itself was really unconventional, so I was wondering a lot where the inspiration of it actually ended up coming from. In the song Cryboy, the name Lucy keeps getting mentioned, and the lyric going, "Lucy, blow me a balloon, say it's okay." I kept searching like in reference to Lucy and balloons, and nothing was popping up. There was no associations. The closest I could get was like People's Personas, and I'm like, I don't think I'm on the right track. Then I found Sunburn Kids on Instagram and was going through some of their posts, which are now deleted, of their old music video production and like behind the scenes stuff. And one of the comments actually ended up saying, "Is this a reference to Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds?" And I was like, bingo. I researched the context surrounding the creation of that song, and it's about one of John Lennon's son's classmates, Lucy, who his son Julian had made a drawing of. Lennon said that he was inspired by Alice Through the Looking Glass, particularly the Which Dreamed It chapter. There was also rumors that the song was actually a hidden reference to LSD, but Lennon and McCartney said that wasn't the case. It was about the classmate, Lucy, in a world inspired by Alice in Wonderland. In the music video for Cryboy, there are flower people that have like blue faces, and in How Much there are flower people that are wearing yellow. And in the song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, it talks about the cellophane flowers of blue and yellow. So it makes me wonder, oh, is this the connection that it's talking about? In Paul McCartney's words, this Lucy was God, the big figure, the white rabbit. And Sunburn Kids uses lots of rabbit motifs in their work. In Sunburn Kids' Instagram, there was also an account called Chapter of Chan that was in their bio. This account no longer exists, but I believe it was rebranded to 1.7, which we will talk about a bit later. I discovered that the fashion brand Chan did drops, each with a specific story surrounding it. As far as I can see, the first drop was October 4th, 2022, titled Bordy. I believe that this drop gave me a little bit of insight on the brand. I also remember there was a website you could go to, and then when you looked next to Bordy, it would say like Sunburn series. I don't think this website exists anymore either, so just trust. One of Sunburn Kids' Instagram posts, that's now deleted, had a caption that said, "Bordy, the new chapter of Chan, was inspired by an experience from Sunburn Kids' younger days. On a farm he visited as a young boy, there was a shed with some sheep and a goat. The sheep were often easily startled and jolted up even at the sight of a small rock. Because of this trait, they stayed glued to each other in the worst heat of the summer. The goat made up for their dullness by being composed and helping them space themselves out by pushing them around with his horns. Sunburn Kids saw the sheep as cowards and the goat as the hero that kept them in order. Obviously, from the sheep's perspective, the goat could be a villain who disturbs their peace, but Sunburn Kids saw that goat seemed to unconcernedly accept that this irrationality, and in that aspect of this goat, he saw himself. The casting of a black actor was no mistake, and at first I was worried about the potential racial implications, but actually I believe that the goat is the hero in this story. They are the one that's an independent thinker in all of the sheep, in the society where all of the sheep all think the same thing. After researching Chan further, I saw that Sunburn Kids had done an interview with Esquire Korea. I also want to say all of this was like translated from Korean, and so I apologize if there's any misinformation or mistakes. Basically, Chan was a fashion brand founded by Lee Eun-chan, aka Sunburn Kids. In the interview, he talked about how fashion was an artistic outlet for him that inspired him from a young age, and basically he wants the brand to embody childhood joy and innocence. The article also talked about a really interesting story. In the interview, Unshin talked about how a child had called a ginkgo leaf a banana, and even though the child knew it was a ginkgo leaf, he still called it a banana uncaring. There's a banana scene in Cryboy, and so I think that this story really struck Unshan. Lastly, Unshan talked about the importance of not thinking that anything is uncool and basically having a free spirit and doing what you want to do. Some people will find it cool and some people will disapprove. That's life. When asked about how Unshan wants other people to perceive the brand, he said, "I hope that you can see it as a comic book that's serialized by a child." Beyond that, for the brand's message, Sunburn Kids said that he wants people to hopefully be free beyond what the sheep think and to continue living life on their own terms and not lose their whimsy, essentially. Further discussing Chan's first drop, Bordy, Jung Xian and Rad Museum also participated in a song created for the promotion, or the promotional trailer. This lore right here, though, goes so much deeper than you think. Once I started connecting things, I just it kept going, and I felt like the "It's Always Sunny" meme with the red string. That's how it felt. I figured out that Zior Park and Sunburn Kids were friends. Learning all this information, though, I decided to check out Zior Park's music video, and so I watched Bye Bye and figured out that Sunburn Kids was the creative director on Where Do the Sasquatches Live? And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I also then saw that music video featured Jung Xian, and I was like, oh my god, wait. I didn't even do that intentionally, but I was like, he worked on Sunburn Kids thing. And so, I was like, he did the song for Sunburn Kids. And so I thought that was a really funny coincidence. Presently, Zior Park is running an animation studio called Syndrome Z, and I believe Sunburn Kids might have been a part of this at some point, but it doesn't look like he is anymore. I might be wrong about that. He might not have ever been involved. It feels important to mention that Zior Park has a song called Sunburn Kid. Now, I can't say this with 100% certainty, but I assume that it is about Sunburn Kids, especially as Sunburn Kids had made an Instagram post thanking him and congratulating him on his album. It's not there anymore, though, so I just have to say trust. Believe it. It was there. I remember. The second drop of Chan was titled Beta Baby, and it was about doing ourselves injustice by not being our authentic selves. The clothing was gorgeous, the promotional material, mwah. Then Chan posted about join the club, and it was a link to the website, I'm pretty sure, but I can't fully verify because that website is gone. But it had Xian in the promotional song. The next drop of Chan's was called Cryboy. Although there are some gorgeous photos for this drop, as far as I know, I couldn't tell that there were any sort of promotional videos like the other drops it had. But then I realized Sunburn Kids was promoting Cryboys with the music videos One Man, Cryboy, and How Much. Now, as I said earlier, I don't quite understand how Sunburn Kids isn't blowing up. His viewership was really low considering, and I know that he's probably very big in the fashion world and as a creative director, but his videos need more attention. They're so good. I get that there's a lot of connections if you haven't fully researched like a crazy person like I have, but I'm making this video so you don't have to, and you can still get to know Sunburn Kids. I wondered if he had any background in videography because his videos were so well produced, and then I ended up coming across his creative director was Ji-hoon Shin for some of them, at least 1 minute. And I was like, okay, and I Googled this guy, and he is the director of EDS Studios, who has done videos for New Jeans and several other commercial videos. Also, the other creative director, a part of EDS Studios, is Okpak, who does stuff for DPR. And so I'm like, oh, this makes so much sense why I was seeing the connections between those things. The next Chan drop was called Baby Beethoven, and I literally loved it. I thought it was so gorgeous. I wanted the green star fleece so freaking badly. I absolutely could not afford it. I remember when they went on sale and I could not afford it. This was back in 2024. And I was just damn. There were some new articles written about Chan as a brand as well. By Pop Magazine, some questions were asked to Sunburn Kids what inspired the drop, and he talked about he loved fence and brick imagery and he wanted to incorporate that into the drop, and that he hoped that the pieces really resonated with fans. Sunburn Kids then went on to talk about how people can see shiny living the life and put together, but they actually aren't. He talked about the constant monotony of life can make people forget about the present moment. Sunburn Kids went on to explain that Beethoven had everything anyone could ever want from the outside. He was talented and understood things the way that nobody else could. But that came with a curse too, as Beethoven would likely have never began going deaf had he never pursued his passion of music in the first place. Pop Magazine also then went on to ask if anything has changed for Sunburn Kids, especially since being a musician. And he said, it takes some getting used to being in the limelight. There's some pressure that comes along with being in the public eye, but that he wants to express himself well in his next album. Lastly, from Pop Magazine, he was asked, what's his future plans, and he talked about he wants to develop Chan as a brand and also be working on his music. On September 30th, 2024, the music video for Red Cheek Boys was released by Sunburn Kids, and the following day, the album Elephant in the Room. Sunburn Kids expressed a genius Korea that expressing himself through music was a change of pace from expressing himself through fashion. Eventually, I believe Sunburn Kids brand Chan got rebranded to 1.7, as I was still following it and some of the same promotional material is still there. From what I can see, the Boarding Studio account was created on December 24th, 2024, and this mainly posts creative direction stuff that I believe is owned by Sunburn Kids. In September 2025, 1.7 dropped Grandma's Needle House, an exhibition. The post ended up reading, "Grandma's Needle House was born from my grandmother's simple yet profound words. I feel happiest when I see you enjoy your meal. In that moment, I came to see her quiet solitude, but also with powerful love she carried within. Inspired by this, I created a collection of art books and garments, embedding stitches made by real grandmothers. Each thread holds both loneliness and affection, small but meaningful gestures of invisible love. Through this exhibition, I hope visitors will also recognize those subtle ways in which love surrounds us." I believe Sunburn Kids has been doing editorial photography and creative direction as well recently. I mean, it looks like they've been up to creating some posts for the magazine Sabukaru, and they just did a collaboration with Kanye West's Sunday Service Choir. I think Sunburn Kids is doing extraordinary things within both the fashion and the music industries, and I like his work so much. I'm excited to see more of it. Literally, I just think that it's creative, it's out there, it's different. It's not, I haven't seen it before, and that's what I really like about his work. It's very authentic to him. Something that I found very interesting about this was all the connections between people. I didn't know Zero Park and Sunburn Kids were connected at all. I just thought it was, a coincidence. I stumbled onto Zero Park's video, and then Shion, what a coincidence. He's featured on the song, and then he's also done stuff for Chan. And the way that all of it's connected, I just thought was so fascinating, and I felt like a crazy person trying to figure it all out. Thank you for watching. I hope that you support Boardy Studio, Sunburn Kids, 1.7. I'm excited to see what they do next in the future. My name is Rachel Liggett, and please subscribe.